Hello, everyone. Welcome to True Alter. My name is Madie, and I am your host for this podcast. Can I yap? Can I yap a little bit? Can I yap and vent and just talk a little bit? Okay. So, first of all, I made this podcast. First of all, I keep trying to make podcasts. I love podcasts. Okay. This is my favorite thing ever. But consistency is not there. We want to change that. That is one of our goals for this year. This is a podcast that is, well, the concept. I have a concept of a podcast. And the concept is just, I want to be able to say things when I feel inclined to say things, and whether it's social commentary or political commentary, or even if it's just like, I don't know, like self-help, things like that. I want to be here and I want to say things because I feel like self-help especially has become so saturated in a way to where I feel like, one, there is regurgitating information. Two, a lot of people that do, and this is just what I've seen. This is just what I've seen, okay? A lot of people that I've seen that are really popular and famous that do self-help, especially when it comes to like mindset and like money mindset, things like that. They're like already billionaires, millionaires, and it's like it's hard to relate. It's hard to relate to people like that. At least to me. I have a hard time relating to people who are, don't work a 9 to 5, can like go to a car lot and just buy a car. Uh, like things like that. Like I see so many creators like that, and that's fine. I'm not knocking them or dissing them, but I really wanted to make a podcast to where it's us. I'm one of y'all. I wanted something like that because I feel like you don't really get to see that often. Yeah, I've always wanted to, I wouldn't say always, but for a very long time, about 3 or so years, I have wanted to enter the podcast world. I start and I stop and I start and I stop again. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I do not like video. Okay? That is what really gets me. When I try to do a video podcast, which I keep trying to do because that's what kind of gets things out. That's what gets viewers. Every single time I try to do a video podcast, a video form, it's really hard. It's really hard for me because I'm so focused on what I look like and what the background looks like and if my setup is good and if like I worry about all that stuff to where I can't do it. Like I just end up not uploading it because I'm just critiquing myself to all hell. So we'll see how this episode goes, and if the streets want video, then we'll do video. But until then, I'm not going to stress myself about trying to do a video if I don't, really get anyone to, if I don't have any listeners, I'm not gonna pull myself thin for that. But anyway, I wanted to talk about last year. Okay. I'm filming this on February 2nd. And if you're like me, you still have some remnants of last year. Like, I feel like I am still carrying burdens of last year over into this year, which makes sense. Nothing is, not everything just completes right at December 31st, right? But yeah, I feel like I have some unresolved things from last year, and I think one of the main things that is unresolved for me is gratitude, how I express gratitude, how I feel gratitude. I feel like I honestly feel like people have tried to I feel like I've throughout my time in kind of like the self-help niche or whatever, in the self-help sphere, gratitude is so forced down people's throats. And last year, um, I want to say I had a really tough fucking year. Okay? It was a bad fucking year. And so, when I would go to like, sometimes I would listen to some creators, some of their old stuff. Like, Chloe Taylor is one of my favorite creators. Hi, Chloe. I would, go to her old stuff, and it's not just, she necessarily wasn't doing it, but listening to old creators and things like that, it's like the toxic positivity is there. Um, and it's just like you have to be grateful for everything. Even if it's something that doesn't go your way, even if it's something that you don't like, you still have to be grateful for it. And even when I went to my therapist, and I was like, hey, girl, like, this shit fucking is rocking me right now. She was kind of saying on the same wavelength. Like, she was kind of saying the same thing as popular creators were saying at the time of, well, do you have, is your sink running? Like, is your water running? Is your heat on? And that's not to a fault, okay? I understand 100% what she is saying. But that doesn't make me feel more grateful, in a sense. It just makes me more angry, in a way. It just makes me more tense because, of course, I am grateful for the water running in my house. Of course, I am grateful for the heat that goes on in my house. This shit just fucking sucks. My life just sucks right now. And I am making this episode for people who may have heard things a little similar, like, oh, well, at least you have this, and at least you have that. Yes, at least I have this, but two things can be true at once, okay? If you don't get anything from this episode, this is what I want you to get from this episode. Two things can be true at once. You can still be grateful for the journey. You can still be grateful for things that are going right, things that are going wrong. And you can also be disappointed in where you are at in life. I moved out of my parents' house. I think I was 19, so 2022. Yeah, it was like around this time, February 2022, I moved out of my parents' house. And even though that was like 4 years ago, that time, it's really funny because I was making the lowest I'd ever made, but I had so much more money. I had so much more money because, yes, there was inflation, but it wasn't this bad. And so, sometimes I look back and I think about those times where it was like, okay, I wasn't living paycheck to paycheck. I wasn't living, feeling like I'm barely have enough to survive. And I look at me now, I'm about to turn 24 in the summer. Credit is shit. Um, I've always paycheck to paycheck. I cannot seem to find a second job. What else? I have so much more anxiety than I did in previous years. It's never been this bad, I would say. And it's weird to be it's honestly weird to be nostalgic that in that way. It's weird to be nostalgic in the way of this was me just a few years ago, and I was doing better then than I was now. And not to get on a side tangent, but I also think that kind of comes with the territory of leaving your parents' house and being on your own, because I feel like once when you actually leave the house, your life kind of starts there. Even if it's just college, your life kind of starts there because you're not under the influence of other people. You're not under direct influence of other people. You may have roommates, but you're not like, they can't really tell you what to do and, things like that. This is when we start to look at our life as a linear uphill, which just isn't the case. But, we were kind of always taught in school, like at least growing up, that your life kind of goes up. Once when you graduate college, you keep going up until you die, really. And that's honestly what I thought. That's honestly what I thought when I was graduating high school. Like, I genuinely thought that, okay, like those years that I was really depressed in middle school, that was the worst of it. That was the absolute worst of it, right? Like, I'm not gonna have to worry about that anymore because once when I graduate college, high school, it's gonna be on and popping. It's not to say that I didn't have good years after I graduated high school, but things just aren't linear. And that's another kind of coming back to the theme of today's episode, is that yes, there may be bumps in the road right now. You may not be going linear. You may not be going straight up, but two things can be true at once. You are not going linear. Life is not going in a straight line up. It's also not going in a straight line down. You will come back up, even if there are bumps in the road, even if I can't remember what it's called, the hypotenuse, whatever it's called, the angles obtuse, acute, yeah. The triangles and the graphs you learn in math. Okay, shit sucks right now. Shit fucking sucks right now. But that doesn't mean you can't have a good time in your life. That doesn't mean that you can't enjoy your time with your friends, right? That doesn't mean you can't enjoy a movie that you're watching or a cup of coffee in the morning. Like, I think that my problem with last year is that, yes, two things can be true at once, but I didn't really internalize that, I guess, because I was just saying, life sucks. This sucks. Everything sucks. But then I would go to hang out with my friends, and I would be the same as life sucks. This sucks. Everything sucks. I think there's a difference in there. And I think that is where my downfall kind of happened, looking back, on last year. Is that, yes, I was grateful, even in the struggle, even in the journey. However, I was still carrying that luggage wherever I went. Wherever I would go, it would be life sucks. Wherever I went, it would be I'm unhappy. And I think that really affected me more than I thought it would. Sometimes when I look at the world, I think there is no hope. There is no way out of this. There is so much going on in today's age. And I know this is going to sound corny, so forgive me for that. But we all have to have hope, some form of hope and faith in ourselves and where we are going. If you have to take things one day at a time, okay, then do that. And what does that look like? That looks like, okay, I'm not even going to plan these huge, like, I'm not going to plan this huge trip. I'm not going to plan to save all of this money over these years. I'm not going to try to hit all, hit all my goals in this time frame. It is going day by day, as in, okay, when I wake up, I'm going to make a goal. I'm going to make a plan for today. And that plan starts the moment I wake up, the moment I go to sleep. That's it. That's what day to day looks like. If you have to take it day by day to have hope, do it. I also think that is something that I have struggled with as well, is that I am making these broad goals. I am looking to the future of 2038. And I'm like, this is what I'm doing. This is how it's going to happen. I'm going to do this. Listen, I love that idea. I love the idea of looking into the future. There's nothing wrong with it. But as crazy as today is, as crazy as yesterday was, and the day before that, and the day before that, I don't feel like I have any other choice but to look at everything day by day, but to take everything day by day. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with taking things day by day. And we're kind of on a side tangent, but it's okay. I actually don't have a whole lot of notes for this episode. I just kind of wanted to talk. So this is fine. Last year was really hard on a lot of people. And honestly, it felt like a part of me died last year. And I don't want to be emo. I don't want to be emo about it. But I think a part of me actually did just kind of wither away last year, okay? I have never had so many financial problems as I did last year, ever in my life. Some of it was my fault. Some of it was out of my control. It doesn't even matter what it was from or how it happened. It just happened and it sucked, okay? And it wasn't even paycheck to paycheck at that point. It was paycheck to like a week in. I had so many bills. I still have so many bills and all this stuff going on, to where, living like that will do that to you. Living like that for a full year will make you feel like you've died inside. And I had to cope with this. I had to learn how to cope with this because my regular coping mechanisms did not work. It couldn't work because my regular coping mechanisms were, guess what? Eating, okay? I love a sweet treat. I am a queen of a sweet treat. I love sweets. I can't have a coping mechanism of sweet treats if I don't have money to buy sweet treats. And that really wrecked me last year because it feels like I didn't have any freedom. You know what I mean? Like it felt like I couldn't do what I wanted to do. And you know what? That's okay. It's okay because there is always a silver lining in things. Even if shit fucking gets your shit rocked, there's a silver lining because one, I am saving money by not eating something sweet multiple times a day because it was bad. Okay, it was bad. I would eat sweets breakfast, lunch, dinner most days. So, yeah, thank God I stopped that, right? So one, I'm not spending so much on sweets. And two, I am not as unhealthy as I was because honestly, I'm honestly really shocked that I was not screened for like pre-diabetes for the way I was carrying it on, doing whatever the fuck I wanted to do. So, but there's a silver lining in that. There is a silver lining in that. I had a health scare, still going through the health scare, and I don't even know how to prevent this health scare. I don't know what's going on with my body. My body it feels like it's rejecting itself. I don't know what's going on with it. But that's making me live a more healthier and cleaner life. I try not to drink as many sodas, even though I love Dr. Pepper in my heart. I'm trying to drink more water. I'm trying to exercise as much as I can. It's been a little bit hard recently with such bad weather, but trying to move my body as much as I can to prevent was going on with my body before. It's a journey. It's the journey. This is what it's about. This is what adulting is about. It's about trekking on. It's about going through the fire. And that fucking sucks. That sucks. That sucks. But that's what it is. And I think the more we get comfortable with it, the more we understand, like, okay, sometimes things aren't gonna go my way. Sometimes things aren't going to go the way I thought they would. Or sometimes, I feel like I'm doing this by myself. The more we get comfortable with the idea that even though I'm struggling right now, it's going to be okay. I'm a girl who's going to be okay. The easier things are going to get. The easier it's going to be to get through that fire. I don't want anyone to leave this episode with feeling down or depressed or anything like that. But the reality of the situation, this is what it is, okay? We are going to go through things. We are going to struggle. But we are still going to have fun. We are still going to live our life. We will not sit and let this circumstance, we're not going to allow ourselves to be victims of it. We are going to learn healthy coping mechanisms and walk through this fire stronger than we were before, okay? Because even though last year was shitty, I do feel like I was stronger than before. I think before, I do think I was a little naive, even though things had happened before, I've had my shit rocked before, but last year it was just completely shit rock after shit rocked, okay? I wouldn't say I'm completely the better for it. I don't trust a lot of things now. When things are good in my life, I get a little nervous, but I did learn that no matter the obstacle, I am going to be able to move with it. I am going to be able to conquer it the way that I need to. My faith, my hope, it's not fully restored yet. It's not fully restored. It's not fully there yet. But I do have faith that things are working for me and not to me. Yes, this situation sucks, but it's not working. This isn't working against me. This isn't because I'm a bad person. This isn't karma. This isn't because I stole someone's pencil in kindergarten, right? This is just because sometimes life sucks. There doesn't have to always be a rhyme or reason, sweetheart. Sometimes things just fucking suck. And that's what I learned last year. I learned that things can fucking suck. Life goes on. But so do I. I go on too. I live too. I can't be a victim of my circumstance, which I was all last year. And I'm not saying this to you to make you feel bad. I'm just saying it to, as kind of as a end of the fourth quarter reflection, I guess. You are going to be okay. Whatever the case may be. Whatever you are going through, you're going to be okay. You might be listening to this, you might be fine, you might be completely fine. Next week, shit could get rocked. Happens to all of us. And it's okay, because you're gonna be okay. You'll figure it out. Okay. This has been True Alter. I don't want to keep going because I feel like I can just keep yapping and going and yapping and going. I hope everyone can get something out of this in a way. But I hope you guys have a good day, a good night, a good evening, a good week. And I will see you all in the next video. Bye.